Let's now move into the communique proper. One of the things that were raised at that event was that the government should consider introducing a deliberate policy for all military and paramilitary institutions, including the National Youth Service Corps, the NYSC, and other private security outfits to patronize Made in Nigeria wares and kits. First of all, what does this tell you about what we produce? Do Nigerians really patronize Made in Nigeria products?
Yeah, thank you very much, Bolaji, on this issue. Basically, what I'll tell you about this, before I come to your question, is this talks about local procurement. Basically, that's what it's talking about. I've been preaching this for many years now. In the U.S. government says you must procure 23%.
You must source for your materials.
Exactly. Things you need in the country, 23% under local procurement policy. So now, coming to your question, what Smidan said here is quite in order. We agree with them. It's quite in order. The meaning of that is that people, industries, or SMEs in the country should be encouraged to produce things that these people will buy. But that will not compromise standards. No. And now
the question is, what is the standards? How would you rate the standards of the products that we make here in Nigeria?
But look, there are agencies that insist that standards should be complied with. And I can tell you today, if it's in the food and beverage industry, you have NAFDAC there. If it's in other areas, you have Standards Organization of Nigeria. And if you really want your products to be competitive, you must comply with said standards. That's the truth. And these agencies must do their work. And if they come and see that your products do not meet up with said standards, automatically you cannot be competitive. That's the truth.
Isn't that a reason why some people prefer to get the materials to source for them abroad? Is it that we do not have the quality needed to meet up with what we need to manufacture the clothes or whatever outfits that we're talking about here, that we have to now source from? Do we have enough of those materials that we're supposed to source for locally? Do you have the required amount and even the standards that we need?
Bolaji, I'll answer this question this way. Prior to this time, when we had a thriving textile and material industry, did we have this problem? No. It wasn't as bad as it is today. Today, how many of the textile factories are in existence? That's the challenge we have. But if they are encouraged, they are well funded. I must tell you, the government have really, especially the Central Bank of Nigeria, they've tried. There have been interventions in various sectors, like Textile Intervention Fund in the power sector, even SME Intervention Fund, and so on and so forth. The Bank of Industry on its own is pushing.
How much of those funds really get to the hands of the textile manufacturers?
That one, what to use to address that is the issue of modus operandi has done. Now, if funds are meant for a particular sector, I'm sure those that disburse it have standards you have to adhere to. And if you meet up with the standard, definitely you have access to the fund.
Do you know how much has been disbursed? Because I understand that 200 billion naira then of textile intervention fund, how much of it has been disbursed? How much is left? And what standards or what are the requirements that is needed to access those funds?
You see, I think about 2 years ago or what, we had a program that specifically focused on how well the intervention funds have done. We had that program. It was organized under the auspices of NASIMA and the NABLE. I was privileged to be at that event. Unfortunately, I don't have the record here, but if I show you, what came out very clearly from the survey that was done was that some of these funds did not reach the targeted people or organizations. Either it's inadequate or one challenge or the other. You understand? So it also brings to the fore the issue of how these funds are administered. Not that somebody pockets them or what. You need to have good statistics of those that really need this fund, so that you even know whether the money provided is enough. That's another thing. If you can release 200 billion, But what of those that need it, if the number is so much that by the time it starts spreading it, a lot of them will not get it. Then it will be like a tip of the iceberg or a drop in the ocean. Because a lot of people, a lot of mouths that need this fund don't even get to it.
Part of the communique reads that the federal government should introduce a tariff regime that will place a higher duty charges even to the tune of 200% or more on textile and leather products in order to revive local textiles and sustain leather enterprises, which are veritable avenues for job creation and all of that. Do you think this is enough, or this will actually yield the results that we're looking for?
This will assist. It's not enough. Just, I know the reason why they came up with this point in their communique, so that even the consumers will be discouraged for going for foreign products. That's the essence of this. You understand? But at the same time, as you are banning this or introducing this policy, you also encourage the local producers to produce enough to satisfy local consumption. You understand? But it's a good idea, really, because like now there have been a lot of policies being introduced to address. Look at the issue of rice importation. You see the duty now. Just recently, this week, there was a policy on importation of second Tokunboh vehicles into the country, from 20% duty now to about 75%. And no, the National Automotive Council have come up with an idea that they are going to encourage local production of motor vehicles, so that people will not be buying Tokunboh vehicles anymore. But to push hard for that, they now raise the duty paid on the imported vehicles from 20% to 75%. I'm just giving that as an example. You understand? So this is a good idea to discourage. And for God's sake, look at the way the fabrics, our fabrics, locally produced fabrics today. Look at our ladies, the way they dress and all whatnot. Even foreigners like to wear them, and they put them in the global market. If you read this Sunday magazine that you usually have in the This Day newspaper, where they show fashion and all whatnot, look at the way they put our local materials, the wrappers our mothers use it to sew all sorts of things. Very, very fine, you know. You really appreciate it. And now, I attended a program not quite long. I saw some white, not up to a month now, in Lagos here. Some white people that came from abroad were wearing all those our local fabrics, and I really appreciated them. You understand? So that means our local materials have been placed at the global world stage, that other cultures can appreciate them. You understand?
Let's go back to the issue of funding. I know that there's been a lot of ways that the government had tried to ensure that small businesses have access to funding. Excuse me. There was actually a request by this group that all enterprises, especially large-scale businesses with a turnover of over 500 million naira, should set aside 0.25% of the profit before tax as MSME's development levy, and also utilize a reasonable percentage of specialized funds such as lottery fund, Shopee, VAT, and so on for MSME's development. What's your take on this?
This is a good initiative, really, because a lot of the large enterprises are making huge profits in Nigeria. That's a good one. But what is left for the government to, go to its drawing board and see how the policy is going to be, cooked up. But if such idea is implemented, it's really going to help. Even the lottery fund, Shopee has a lot of money. So the money should be channeled towards, part of the money should be channeled towards MSME development. Because what is Shopee all after? They want to encourage job creation. You understand? That's what Shopee is all about. Job creation. Now, they have a lot of graduates that have graduated for a long time. But if your agency want people, through Shopee you get people absorbed in your place, and through Shopee fund, those people will be paid. You, the employer, will not have any money to spend except if you want to pay allowance. So Shopee is taking care of that. But they should go further. They should go a step further to part of the money they have under their control should be channeled towards SME development, so that the more SMEs you have, more job creation.